last time we had a Scotch for a podcast?
I can't honestly remember. We've done a lot of whiskeys lately, some bourbons, some new things of that nature. But yeah, like I said, it has been a while since we've had a Scotch, and particularly the one, or at least the brand that we're having today. I know I have had some of them in their lines, their portfolio, but I don't think I've had this one. And if I have, I've never actually owned a bottle for sure.
Yep.
What we're dancing around here is we've got a 12-year Scotch for this Give It a Shot. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Keith. And we are aboutbeverages.com. And the beverage that we're about today is the Macallan Highland Single Malt 12-year double cask.
Double cask,
Scotch.
2 casks. When one cask won't do,
Then a second is needed.
then the second is obviously
Call
needed.
for number 2.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if you want to call for a number 2.
Well,
That's
when one cask is yeah.
Is that what peat is? I don't think it is.
No.
But yeah, so we've got double cask here. So we've got the usual sherry, and we also have American oak, 12-year aged single malt. You can see some of this is missing from here. This bottle was actually given to me by a friend of the show, and they said something to the effect of, we had it, we thought it was a pretty good Scotch, we bought it, and several of us, we just didn't like it that much. But we'll see if, maybe our palates were inexperienced enough or just didn't know what we enjoyed. Yeah. They seemed to be, when I was speaking with them, they were like, yeah, I'm a little more of a whiskey drinker, a little more of a bourbon drinker. So sometimes the peat can kind of not be for everybody. So
no, that's true. And there are kind of 2 general categories that Scotch falls into. You have that smoky peaty side, and then you also have the more on the sweet honeyier side. So there's always that Scotch taste, though. You always have that little bit of that. Just that essence from the water and from that area.
There is, yeah. Even if you don't go for like these smoked
flavor profile,
even if you don't go for the peat smoked, which can definitely be a lot stronger, your Lafroigs, your Lagavulins, that type of thing.
Right.
Even if you go for the ones that are unpeated, which I also like I'm pronouncing it probably highly incorrectly, so apologies. Like the Glengoyne or something like that. That one is also really good. But that was what really made me realize what some of that flavor was in Scotch that I just always immediately associated with peat, and it was like, oh no, this is actually this other flavor in there. So not too much to write home about with the color, like so just kind of that honey color. I would go with
not on the darker side for sure, but yeah, just what we would expect.
The aroma,
yeah,
that's a nice aroma. I like that. It's kind of honey. I get a little apple. There's some sort of fruit in there, maybe.
Not super peaty, I don't think.
I don't think so either. Get a little sherry. There's a little red, sherry kind of fruitiness in there too. Little apple. Yeah, maybe a little nutty too at the back end. A little honey.
Almost like caramel apple or something like that, because they got that little bit of apple, but with the like a caramelized nuts that are going on there. A little caramel.
Yeah, I like the aroma of this quite a bit. This seems like kind of a nice blend between. Not quite like one of our favorites that we always used to like here on the channel. They don't make this one anymore, but it was the 16-year Scapa. That one we always used to talk about, that we thought was like the amazing kind of blend between going from bourbon, if you were a huge bourbon fan, to Scotch. Because it seemed like it was always right in between, had a little bit more sweetness to it. Like I said, balanced out some of the peat smoked, and especially, like I said, to our brother, who was not always a huge Scotch fan, that was the one he always liked the most, and it was kind of because of that balance. But unfortunately, they don't make that expression anymore.
No, they don't.
Maybe they'll listen to this podcast and find out.
They'll bring it back.
All right. To the taste?
Of course.
I'm surprised for the proof that it has a little bit more, like, is it not over the top, but I'm surprised for the proof being...
It's 86, I think.
86.
Yeah.
That there's a little bit of spice that kind of comes back forward.
Yeah.
I really actually like the finish quite a bit, because you kind of get the initial honey. I get a little less of the apple than I thought I would. A little more of the sherry, kind of like that kind of, red fruit kind of comes through from the sherry. And then there's like about a half second pause. And then all of a sudden I get this little kind of like retronasal, like forward thing of like the little bit of smoke and the peat kind of coming through. And it's really nice. Like it's really kind of washing over it. My mouth is watering a little too.
It's very reserved for a Scotch.
Yeah.
You'd know it's a Scotch, but it's one of the least assuming Scotches I've ever had, because it doesn't, because it
for me, it doesn't really present itself as a Scotch until that part I talked about, like
at the end,
because you get like, you kind of take a sip, you're like, oh, that's good, and then like there's this little kind of back, but that really emphasizes that. There's still obviously some things that like make its Scotch presence known, but like I said, that the very end there's this kind of a little kind of back forward.
Yeah, because there's the good
that comes back through.
All those other things there. It's your good fortune that they did not enjoy that.
I'm pretty happy with that. That's actually pretty good. I know I've had some of the higher end Macallans at some point, like either just like at a restaurant, like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna get a pour of that kind of thing. But I've never obviously analyzed it like this or even had a bottle. Yeah, this is definitely a bottle I would have around again for sure. And I know they're probably it seems like one of the more mass market ones. I know like sometimes you can find like on the down low around the holidays, like Kirkland, if they ever have like it's like one of their higher, like if they have like the 18-year like Kirkland one that actually is Macallan. Right. That's always been kind of like the like secret thing. So if you see those, it's like their runoff or whatever. But yeah, like I said, that's actually quite tasty.
It's quite tasty.
I like that quite a bit. And hopefully you also like quite a bit our website, aboutbeverages.com, because that's where you can find everything we've ever done. Everything, whether it's a podcast, video, recipes, all you Pinterest users out there, recipes, like I said, articles, everything that we've ever done is there at our website. If you only want the latest videos, YouTube is the best place to subscribe. We'd appreciate that. You can find archives of this podcast that we do every Thursday night, the entire show, and all of our smaller podcasts and some other little shorts and things are up there as well. If you only want audio, we've got you covered there too.
We do.
Google Podcast, iTunes, Spotify. If you have a favorite podcasting app, just search for About Beverages. You will probably find us there. And while you're searching for that, you could just search all the other social media things too, if you want to follow us there.
That's true. Well, the three main ones that we use.
The three big ones, right?
The three big ones. The three pillars, as we say, are Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, which is the one that we use most of all to keep you up to date with what's going on at About Beverages. Like earlier this evening when I tweeted we were about to go live on twitch.tv/aboutbeverages, which we do most Thursday evenings around 5:30 Pacific time. That's when we get together. We record some podcasts. We try beverages. We have some fun discussion, talk about all kinds of things, whatever happens to come up in chat or come into our brains or whatever happened in the past week. And also Andrew let you know what he is going to be doing throughout the week, because he is doing that 5 days a week. Right?
It is 5 days
a week. As far as gaming goes, as far as what he will be drinking while he is doing those gaming things and stuff. So follow us on Twitter for all the latest at About Beverages.
But as we always say, whether we like it or not,
you should give it a shot.